today I am talking about the upcoming movie Ghostbusters. It's a remake of the classic original that is beloved by most everybody. If you're a kid, if you had a childhood, you've seen it. If you're an adult, you've seen it probably 4 or 5 times. I've seen it 5 times. It's a great film. And the remake of it, which comes out this July, I think, has garnered a lot of negative attention. And for those of you who do still want to see it, stop this video now, because there's been a huge setback, and that is the entirety of the plot has been released. Now, whether or not you like the upcoming movie, I'm sure that you still want to see it, because it's a Ghostbusters movie. I don't like the trailer. I don't think it's going to be very good, but I want to see it. I want to like it. But unfortunately, from the leaked plot, it doesn't look that good. Now, I'm about to tell you exactly the plot of the movie, beginning, middle, end, and everything in between. Now, for those of you who have seen my past video, the plot leak for Batman vs. Superman and Star Wars Episode VII, you know I have found leaks that turned out to be true. Back in May of 2015, before the first teaser trailer ever came out, I found a leak source saying Han Solo was going to be killed by Kylo Ren at the Starkiller base, and I was right. I guessed that Robin will die in BVS, and I guessed Doomsday was going to be in it before the third trailer even came out. I guessed it, so I'm on a pretty good winning streak for my sources that leaked movie information. So for those of you who don't want to spoil Ghostbusters, stop this video now, because I haven't been wrong before, so beware. Okay, let's get to it. So the movie is supposed to start out with the cliche, of course, the gang comes together. It's 3 scientists that are called upon for to find a ghost in a library, like the original, and of course they get footage. And because of that, they find new interest in becoming Ghostbusters. In becoming the Ghostbusters, that's what I'm saying. And before I go on, I want to say that my source does not give me word for word. It just gives me probably a paragraph or 2 of the movie. It gives me the important stuff that kicks it off, the climax, and the end. It does not give me a lot. So I'm telling you what's going to happen, but I'm not going to tell you in extensive detail. So as saying that, let's get to the next part. The next part is that one member of the Ghostbusters team does not get accepted. I'm not sure if this is a male or female character. I know that the character's name is Ronan, or Ronan, and it's going to be, he or she is going to be the main villain. So after he or she is denied acceptance into Ghostbusters, he or she commits suicide. Yeah, that's right, you heard me right. Suicide. There is a part of this movie where a supposed to be turned down member of the Ghostbusters kills themselves, and after that, the ghost of that suicide becomes the main villain. The ghost you see on the Ghostbusters logo, that is what this suicide victim's ghost is going to look like. Now, after that, the ghost goes around getting all the other ghosts or riling up this or that. As I said, I don't have a lot of description. Point is, the Ghostbusters, as they gain popularity, putting away Ghost, this suicide victim Ghostbuster, gets more and more powerful. And then at the end, what happens is there's this huge showdown at Times Square, and the government can no longer say that ghosts aren't real. So the Ghostbusters come in and create a portal that sends the ghosts back to the world of the dead. Now, at the end of the film, there will be an end credit scene where the Ghostbusters find messages from the height of all the paranormal activity that state that they're messages of the coming of Zool, which I kind of liked. Now, from what I just told you, I'm going to give you a summed up version right now. Ghostbusters come together, one of them kills themselves and becomes the villain. That villain gets all the ghosts together and creates the army, messing up New York and trying to bring the world of the dead to the living. The Ghostbusters create a portal, send all the ghosts to the death world. That's the end credit scene foretelling Zool. Now, from that, I liked 20-30% of that. I liked the idea of the suicide victim. That's a darker tone of the franchise. It would open up to a wider audience than just kids. I like that. But then, you know, it went there's a part in the movie after the ghosts are at their height, where Ronan has most of his power, that they do a musical number in Times Square. That's what my source says, and that sounds pretty awful. Not to mention that, from what I seen from the trailer, there's going to be bad comedy here and there, and this musical number from a suicide victim and his followers just sounds awful. And then the ending where they send them through the portal, that's cliche. That is awful. Like, so many movies have ended that way, and it's as if they didn't even try to think of something new. Like, what's a good idea? Why don't we make it to where New York is being on a rampage and they have to find out some way to put all the ghosts away? Well, instead of thinking of something like, I'll give some, okay? They find some sort of religious artifact and send the ghosts back to where they came. Or there's some sort of trick to where each of the ghosts did something in life that prevents them from moving on. And so they have to find each of the ghost thing, and that would be a more complicated process, but at least it would show forgiveness for the villain. And that sounds kind of cliche, but in the end it would be more of a heartfelt ending, even if it was cliche. But instead they went with the route of a portal. That's lazy. That's freaking lazy. I mean, you do a portal when you just can't come up with anything else. Like, one of the Ghostbusters, probably the scientist, says, why don't we make a portal? And then they make a portal without explaining it, and there's the portal, ghosts go through it, movie's over, end credit scene foretelling Zool. And I like the Zool aspect, I like the suicide victim aspect. I thought that how they played the theme with the action sequences through the trailer were pretty interesting. As a Ghostbusters fan, I really liked that. But the fact is that the actors are awful, the jokes are awful, there's going to be a freaking musical number, and it just doesn't sound that well done. There's extreme humor in the musical number, and then there's extreme drama in the suicide victim. Those don't mash at all. This isn't a dark comedy, this is Ghostbusters. And I think it looks sloppy, I think it's going to be sloppy. So now you know the Ghostbusters movie, beginning to end, summed up. What do you think? You think it's going to be good? Do you think I'm right? Like and subscribe.